Hello, good morning. Welcome to today's midweek market analysis. So as usual, we're going to be covering some of these opportunities and potential setups over here for the midweek. And let's get started with the dollar index. So from the recent development of price, right now the dollar index seems to be developing into a three-wave corrected flag structure. So short term over here, we're expecting a little bit more to the downside to complete a three-wave structure somewhere around 101.70 to 101.45. So if you are more of a short-term, hourly or intraday trader, you can definitely look for dollar weakness for the remaining part of this week. Whereas if you are more of a swing trader, you probably just want to be patient and see how price is going to develop coming down, and perhaps next week it's where we're going to look for the buy opportunity for the dollar itself, right? So if you translate that to the euro, then quite the inverse. So short term over here, we're expecting a little bit more of the upside. So same thing, if you're more of a short term, hourly, intraday kind of trader, you have a short term opportunity that you can look out for with a target back up towards 1.1050 to 1.1080 zone, and then that's where we potentially may look for a sell, right? If this is going to develop into a three-wave corrective structure. Now, GBP USD last session, which is yesterday, basically the market came down quite nicely. This was actually a shorter term trade I'm looking at in terms of short term buy opportunity, where we have this 1, 2, 3 coming down towards that 50 and 618. We did get a nice bounce at 618. I did enter a little bit higher at the 50% mark. Very nice little reaction over here, so that also gives us an opportunity to quickly shift our stops initially down here to break even, okay, and kind of see if this is a trade that we can actually take it further, at least for the short term, right? Again, these are all short term trades towards 1.2880 to even 1.2940, and that would then complete a very nice little three-way structure, and potentially this may come down further, right? So if you kind of miss out yesterday opportunity to get involved, you definitely still have some chance to jump in. Suppose if today the market can do a little bit of a consolidation here, you can definitely look out for some kind of a breakout technique to get involved in the upside as well, right? So the pattern is still the same: impulse correction, impulse three-wave push back down. It's a corrective structure. That's our setup itself. Okay, so that's on GBP USD. Aussie dollar seems to be completing I would say, an internal 5-wave move. Okay, now can we take it as, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Definitely, but from my perspective is, if I'm gonna take this as a big tree, okay, in white, right, in white degree, then this is a little bit awkward because this is a three-wave move, right? So that's where my primary label right now is that this entire piece may be the third wave in white, and internally we have a 5-wave down, right? So right now this may be developing as a fourth wave, and of course we'll be looking out for areas around here. This can also turn out into an expanding flat, right? So we do have a little bit of a confluence no matter how the pattern eventually evolves into, and the area of interest is definitely around here. Okay, so of course, ideal situation is we want to see this as a three-wave pullback correctively towards this zone. That's where we're gonna look for a sell, and we do have some little confluence in the past here as well, with a target at 6460. Okay, so this is something to look out for as well. Dollar CAD kind of like did a mini V, okay, but I'm a little bit cautious, and I'll just stay neutral for now and kind of observe, what's the reaction over here. The reason for me being neutral and not immediately look for a sell, right, is really because this little move here may have just completed wave 3. Okay, and of course this will be wave 1 here, and then this will be probably wave 2, and of course wave 3 is fast and aggressive. And if that's the case, then this would likely just develop into something like this as a wave 4 structure. Okay, and then we can expect one more push up, right? So I just want to give it a little bit more time. Obviously, if this develops up correctively, we can still look for a short-term sell. Okay, like what we did in terms of like euro and the pound, looking for short-term intraday trades, definitely possible. Okay, but for now, I'm just gonna give it some time anyway, because we want to at least see a corrective structure develop first, right? So if you don't get that, then there's no trade either, right? So just keep a lookout for that. Dollar yen, we did not really get the nice little corrective structure here for continuation, but instead we kind of get a strong little push up. Okay. However, on the hourly, we do see that this may develop into a crawl. Okay, so what we have is still potentially a 1, 2, and then one more drop. But perhaps if this is going to be something so deep, then this drop here may just ends off somewhere at the previous bottom to give us a 3-wave corrective for more upside potentially. Okay. So I'm still neutral now, but I think, depending on how the market's going to develop today, we may be having an opportunity to sell it in the short run, at least for the lower time frame as I mentioned. If it is a crawl, we can sell it with a potential target back at that low around 141.50. Okay, so this one pretty need to see how the market is going to develop today, and tomorrow we'll probably have an opportunity over here. Now gold, I'm shifting to neutral. Initial expectation is this is going to be corrective and we can start to look for more upside. We didn't get a corrective pullback, but instead more of a maybe double bottom structure. So I'm shifting to neutral. Simply I want to just see, can we get an impulsive move before a correction, and then we'll look for upside. But if this just comes back up and doesn't go very impulsively, this may turn into a kind of flag structure, and this means potentially more downside, right? So just being neutral, let's give time to the market and see how it's going to develop first. WTI, we kind of got back up in terms of a mini V. Okay, so this may translate into maybe something like this. So not much, right? I'm basically just waiting, see how it's going to develop. Not clear here, we'll just skip it. S&P, we did get a nice little move down. This seems to be losing a little bit of momentum, so we do expect kind of like a pullback. If you can get a corrective pullback towards somewhere around 4537, or if you kind of put it into a nice number, 4535 to 4550, that would be an opportunity to sell it one more move down, right? So that's kind of giving us a 1, 2, 3. Okay, so definitely focus on the sell right now. If we can get a corrective 3-wave push, that will be ideal. Okay, for the downside with a target at 4380. Alright, the rest of this here will probably just scan through, not much. Pound Australia will probably need to wait a little bit while as well to develop a kind of internal 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be more, I would say, conservative, to wait for a little bit more of a confirmation to complete that as a diagonal, and then we'll start to look for downside, right? So right now, just being patient and see if we can get a 5-wave internal completed. BTC is testing its previous top. I'm bullish, but I'm not jumping into any trade yet. I want to see the breakout. I want to see the corrective pullback before I commit to the buy. Okay. So I think bulk of the opportunity within the week is still mainly the majors, right? So like you have euro, dollar, pound dollar in the short run. Dollar Canadian potentially, but needs to see how it's going to develop first. Aussie dollar, we may have a decent swing. Okay, if this comes back correctively, we may have a decent swing trade from maybe late this week going into next week. Dollar yen here, potentially something that can build in tomorrow. Alright, so that's for me, this midweek's video over here. So all the best, you're trading, and I'll see you guys in the next one.